First and foremost, I want to take a moment. I want to thank everybody that's joined us. And for those that will be joining us and they see this video, I appreciate you joining me as well. We're going to do some brief introductions and then we're going to get into the platform. So for those that don't know who I am, my name is Travis Burrows. I am the VP of Global Channels and Alliances here at NUWAVE. And I've also asked Brian, which is the VP of Global Channels Americas, to join us this afternoon. He will be our primary. He's the man of the show. He's going to be talking about what we're delivering today. And so really what our focus is to set the foundation before I turn it over to Brian. Our goal in today is, you know, as a part of our channel, you all know that we're very heavily driven with our marketplace. And our marketplace is providing additional value to our business opportunities on top of driving additional revenue for the channel. And we partnered up with Tango last year. Brian, this is Brian. I think this is our second roundtable that we'll be doing together. And the reason why I wanted to do a Tango again was because Tango, and I don't want to steal Brian's thunder, but Tango is delivering a very unique platform for just your ordinary mobile device. And I know I'm not going to do this justice, but an ordinary normal device that we can then enable behind a Teams platform or a Webex for a purely secured, compliant UC experience without any type of application requirements, meaning, you know, a soft phone or a mobile client. It's a native experience into the UC platform. So once again, my focus, guys, in the channel is I want us to promote it. I need you guys to understand it. It's going to drive revenue, but more importantly, it's going to secure your customers, and it makes us very sticky in these opportunities. So on that note, Brian, you are the man of the hour. The floor is yours, and I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend. Thank you again for your help today.
I'm going to put presentation.
Brian, before I begin, I apologize, guys. This is a roundtable. This is not a standard webinar. So as Brian is talking, if there's any questions, please drop them into the Q&A or into the chat, and we're going to address them during the time of the presentation. So we're not going to wait until the very end. If something comes up, let's get involved, ask questions, and let's make Brian and myself think a little bit this afternoon.
Absolutely. I like it. Let's see if we can get some brain teasers going out there.
There we go.
Thanks very much, Travis. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I know this takes time out of your day, so we appreciate your willingness to come and join us today, and we want to make this as productive as possible for you. Travis, I'm going to put this into slideshow mode here, and I'm going to share it. Let's see, actually, I may have to bear with me just a moment. We do this. Come on. Move that over here. You just let me know if this looks correct from your side. I just want to make sure. Let me know what you see. It's actually coming across as two slides.
It is. I believe I can see it. I hope everybody else. I just did a screen share on a global basis, so hopefully everybody can see it. And if you don't mind, okay, I just saw a couple thumbs pop up, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll dive in right as it is. So as Travis mentioned, I'm Brian Cassano. I'm responsible for sales here of Tango Networks and Tango Extend in the Americas. And we're just going to do a couple of things today. We're going to go through an overview of what Tango Extend is, how it functions, works, and operates within your UC environment, the values and benefits that it brings, as well as some of the use cases and functionality of where it fits and how it impacts users on your end from a day-to-day basis. So hopefully this will be really meaningful for you. You'll understand the solution, the product itself, and then how to go out and meet with your clients and have a very value-based conversation with them about it and how it can be really impactful for their business. On the second slide there, you can see is what is Tango Extend. So essentially what it does is it enables the DID number of your unified communication platform to be used as either primary or the secondary number on a mobile device. So essentially what we're doing is we're extending the DID out to the mobile device, and we're doing that, the keyword there is natively. So the same way you're making and taking calls to reach out to family, friends, and relatives, you now have the ability to do the same thing on a mobile device with the DID, leveraging the DID number through UC platform natively. I can have contacts where I pre-program them, and when I reach into my contacts, if they are designated to be called through my personal network, the call will go out through the personal network. If that is a business call and they're set up to go through the Tango Extend network, then that's how that call will be traveled, completely separated and totally transparent and easy for the user to consume and leverage a DID on a mobile device. So mobile devices have become the universal endpoint at this point. Everybody's using them, all walks of life, of work, whatever people are doing, they are on a mobile phone at some point. We have some research recently, as many as 80% of business calls now are being conducted across mobile phones. So it's a really important element. And understanding how to bring that mobile communications into the corporate environment is really critical, and that's where we'll get into some of the use cases on that later and understand how we can do that. Additionally, many of you out there, you might be saying to yourself, well, I have the ability to, through an over-the-top application, to make and take calls from leveraging a DID number with my mobile app on my phone, and that is true. One of the differences there is that you're leveraging a data signal for a voice call. In our case, when you leverage and use Extend, it's actually leveraging the cellular service itself. So you have a higher level of quality of service, you've got a higher level of priority, you've got an easier handoff if you're traveling and driving down the road at 60, 70 miles an hour. Hopefully everybody's being careful of doing that. But you do have the ability to have a better end user experience, which is also not just better for your end users, but your clients, customers, suppliers, and providers as well.
Well, and
So
Brian,
really,
Brian, to your point, I had the pleasure of meeting Brian for lunch this past week, but we're in the call, we're in our meeting, and I'm driving up to Dallas, and all of a sudden I received notifications that I have a missed call here, I have a missed SMS through my Teams client, and because once again, the clients sometimes aren't. They're not providing me the complete connectivity at all given times. The client logs itself out. It does this, it does that. Well, with the mobile extend, and Brian, keep me honest here, it's just like my mobile. And the only time I'm not is if I have zero service. I'm being connected to that communications. I might be traveling and I might have missed a call that's worth $100 million sale. So, that's another thing about the Extend product that I see major value on is based on always being connected and receiving the communications that I need to conduct business on a day-to-day basis. So,
absolutely.
And then I know Isaac has a question. Isaac, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
because of background noises, if you can type in your question, Isaac, either into the Q&A or the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. We might be opening up at the end, but unfortunately in these type of meetings, there's a lot of background noise and so forth, and I want to keep that kind of limited, Isaac. Hopefully you understand, sir.
Yeah. Absolutely, and we look forward to answering that for you, Isaac, as well.
Absolutely.
A couple of last quick points on this one as well, as far as what is Tango Extend is, here in the US, one of the great advantages we have is we can actually take a DID number and we can do messaging across the DID number as well here in the US. So it becomes a really effective tool for not only just voice, but also for messaging. And there's a number of different options in how we can address and handle messaging. It can be as easy as you message natively today, peer-to-peer, sending messages. It's based on the phone itself, and the messages travel across the network. If there's some a deeper level of compliance that you want to capture, store, retrieve those messages the same way you might do for a voice call, that can be done as well. So it can be addressed in many different scenarios, and that's what opens up the use cases and how you can address real problems for your clients and customers. And then lastly, POTS replacement. We'll talk about that a little bit. Essentially, we are a SIM-based solution. SIM cards are now going into POTS replacement solutions. The difference with Tango Networks is we are a VoLTE, a voice over LTE service. So in those scenarios, if you're working on POTS replacements with your clients, if it's a requirement and they're asking you for answers to the issue that's going on out there with POTS with POTS and copper right now, we can provide that higher level cellular quality level of service. So if voice is a priority and a critical aspect of that particular use case in a POTS replacement scenario, elevators, blue light boxes, calling, anything that's involved with calling, it may make sense to leverage and use a SIM that provides a VoLTE service with a higher level quality of service for you. So, all right. Any questions, Travis, or can I move through the next one?
No, I'm getting some side messages about stuff. So yeah, keep on going, and I'll add. They're sending me on my personal messages, which is fine, guys. If you have my personal Teams client, that's fine. You can do it there too. But no, I'm good, Brian. That's a great overview. Thank you.
You got it. All right. Just saying again, just talking about the environment overall within the communications scenario. So today we have soft clients, you have desk phones, you have over-the-top mobile applications. So you can address communication needs for clients and customers. With the new universal endpoint, everybody carrying a mobile phone, everybody conducting business on a mobile phone. How do you make it more effective for them? How do you make it easier for the end user? How do you incorporate the communications that's taking place on the mobile device and bringing it in and making it part of the overall corporate environment? So by leveraging the native dialer, you're increasing adoption rate of actually using the DID number. It's easy for, as a user, I use a bring your own device scenario. So I carry one phone. I have a personal service for myself and my family. And then I have a secondary eSIM on my phone for all my business calling. They're totally and completely separate. It makes it easy for me. And it's just quick and easy. So if I need to call Travis, I go to my contacts, I hit Travis, I bring him up. I could use Siri. I'm an Apple user. However, I dial and reach out to folks, and it's going to reach out to Travis, and it's going to leverage my DID number. So when he receives a call from me, he knows it's me, and he's also getting my my work number, which provides all sorts of, again, other areas where maybe this might come into play. We'll touch on it a little later in a scenario in the healthcare industry, particularly around nurses and things like that. But you have business and personal calls fully separated on one device, really convenient and easy for me as a user. On the right side, you're still leveraging your UC platform. You're still leveraging the call recording systems, the network, the PSTN, all of that. We are simply a SIP, another SIP endpoint off of your environment. So from a profiling and preference perspective within the UC platform, one phone number, the calling plans themselves, the call control, routing, if call recording is involved, call history, reporting, voicemail, all of that is simply extended now with the DID number out to the mobile device. I see a couple of questions may have popped in. Travis,
yeah,
anything you want to address?
Yeah, there was one question that popped up on my other platform, and it's more related around the NUWAVE aspect of things, Brian. But I do want, this is something that we've really been promoting. So, the partners that are on the line, if you're not aware, myself and our sales directors, based on a global basis, we really promote the term proof of value. POVs. I know that in the industry, people like to use POC. We're going to change it up, and my Chief Marketing Officer's on the line. He cringes every time I change things up, but I apologize, Ricky. So the question was proposed: can we add Tango Networks to a user in our POV environment? The answer is absolutely, and we encourage you to do that. Our focus moving forward is, if we're doing any type of UC in voice enablement behind Webex or Teams, that I want to use as many marketplace partners as possible, Tango being a primary one. So to that question, absolutely, we can definitely add that to a POV. It is at just our prevailing same POV concept. It is under a 30-day no-cost association and easy to go to transition into production, just as you would do with our normal voice services.
Absolutely. Outstanding. Yeah. We want to make this as easy for you as a consumer of the service, as well as the end users and themselves also. So we look forward to that. Proof of concept is a great opportunity. Proof of value in this case, right, is a great opportunity to test and use the service itself. Additionally, once you start using it, I myself Love it. I'm addicted to it. There are so many simple things throughout the course of the day. I get 10-digit phone numbers calling on my personal network all day long. I never answer one of them, just like everybody else. I see a 10-digit number and it comes in and it's labeled Tango Extend. I know that's somebody purposely calling into my business number. I will actually pick up and answer that call, and I'll answer it professionally as well. So it's really nice to be able to just see on one device the difference of an inbound call, whether it's personal or a business call. But important stuff, right? Mentioning a lot of investment. We kind of glance over this sometimes, and we'll touch on it a little bit. But on that right-hand side, all the work that goes into provisioning a worker, a fixed worker, right? All the tools, the capabilities, the reporting, the analytics, now AI coming into play as well. All of those elements, if those are available for a fixed line worker, because we are simply another SIP endpoint off your network, and the DID is extended out to the mobile, all of those capabilities are now effectively and easily extended out to the remote worker as well. So you're giving them the ability to leverage and use tools, as well as the corporation and the company itself is extending those tools out to mobile workers. All right. Just a quick touch point here. Very easy to deploy and really effective to be able to use. So within the iPILOT marketplace, and Travis may touch on that just a little bit as well, but you have the ability as a Teams user, as a Webex user, to go in, identify individual users and their phone numbers that you would like to enable for the mobility. We set that up very easily through your UC admin. The end user receives a QR code. They click on the QR code, and within 30 to 60 seconds, they're up and running. So that even as an eSIM on a second device. So you now have a second network uploaded, ready to use, make and take phone calls within just a few minutes. So it's really nice.
And I want to make a point to Brian, and thank you, kind of lead me into that. But yes, so a part of the ecosystem, and for those that are familiar with iPILOT and utilize iPILOT for provisioning and deployment services, Tango Networks, or Tango Extend, powered by Tango Networks, is officially within our marketplace. So it is a easy transition from, hey, I have a customer that starts off with just pure voice enablement, 10 users, 100 users, 1,000. They want to add to that. They can log in, or their partner or whomever, or the customer themselves. They can go into the integration tab. Tango has their own little easy button. You can go in, you enable it, and it can be deployed directly into their from our marketplace out of iPILOT. Because for those that have used iPILOT for years now, our concept is easy. We want to be the most automated platform in our industry, and I think we're doing a really good job at that. So it is in marketplace. It can be deployed that way as well.
Excellent. All right. I think that's it there. I did want to bring up one point, actually, Travis, as well. There was a question around proof of value. Can add this to a proof of value? The answer is yes. I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit in this scenario, if possible. Right? Sure. Is there a chance that for folks on the call, they have the ability, if they do want to trial it, they do want to test it, and they want to go through a little bit of a proof of value, could we offer it to them in that scenario for 30 days for them to do it at no cost? Is that a possibility through iPILOT?
They can't. So what we're doing, and if Mark Bunnell reads this, I don't know if we're ready to announce it quite yet, but we're working on a new platform. It's called Launchpad. Launchpad will be able to do any type of online POV concept, and then we'll have banners that pop up and say, hey, enable Tango, enable our other marketplace providers. But to your point, nutshell, either through working with your sales director, Eric and Justin and Jason and Alistair and all that, and Theo, and I don't want to leave anybody out. You can work with them directly to do a POV based on that, or you will be able to do it through Launchpad in an automated format as well. So yes, on both formats, but we are going to promote that. And I would, in my book, guys, I'm an only child. I want it all. I want every user that we have deployed in voice enablement with us through our either unified voice or call path. I want them to be enabled with Tango Extend. I want them to use the platform, because guys, I'm telling you now, when people are using it, they do not return it. So once they get comfortable with it, it's just like a kid in a candy store. Once you give them a piece of candy, you're not getting it back. That's the same concept that we're going to deliver with the POV. So hopefully, Brian, that answered your question. Yes? No?
Absolutely. And I didn't
Okay.
mean to put you on the spot there.
Oh, that's all right.
I just want to make sure everybody gets the benefit of that, if that's at all possible.
You're kind of good at that, so I'm getting used to it. It's okay.
All right, let's see. Okay, so moving into from a benefits perspective, who actually benefits from this, right? So our our ideal customer profile is a worker that is on the move in some way, shape, or form. So everything from corporate IT departments, communication departments, those individuals, they are looking for some way to bring mobile communications under one platform, one set of rules, one set of guidance, compliance, and all of those issues, security, and how do I deal with and support mobile workers, and how do I do it easily and effectively? In this case, by leveraging Extend Your Now, because we're leveraging the DID numbers off the platform, you give the corporate side of things those added values and benefits. Additionally, after doing some research, in a very short period of time, when over-the-top apps are deployed, up to 96% of 94% of individuals, after just 4 months, stop using apps for making phone calls. It could be as simple as laziness, not wanting to click into an app, muscle memory, things along those lines, ease of use, and or even just the fact that maybe they've had a bad experience with call quality. They may stop using the app and giving out their personal number. If that is happening, if that's starting to occur, then at that point, you now have business communications that are taking place outside of the corporate purview and have no visibility into it. So it's just one of those things. Is there certainly a place in the world for those types of apps? Absolutely. Can we complement each other in many scenarios? Absolutely. Is there some situations where maybe just the ability to make and take business calls is all that's needed? Absolutely, we can do that as well. So across the board, it makes some sense where we can help and support each other in that space.
Okay. So Brian, I'm going to try something. And I apologize if it doesn't work. So it sounds like a couple of our attendees are having some challenges with the chat or maybe the Q&A. So I know Isaac has a question, and I really want Isaac, I'm going to take you off mute, but I might put you back on mute based on the feedback of what we might be able to get. But I'm going to accommodate. I do want to accommodate. Let me see if it's going to allow me to unmute you, Isaac. Yeah, see, it's not. I was afraid it was going to do that because we have it set up a certain way for these type of meetings because of past experiences. Yeah, unfortunately, Isaac, the way that we have our meeting set up, because we've had it in the past where we've had a lot of latency or background noise is based on that. I'm not able to unmute individual participants. So, Mr. Chun, I know, Eric, if you can reach out to Isaac, and if we get that question, we will definitely address this question. Sorry, Brian, not to take you off subject.
No problem. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Well, we'll definitely work on that for sure. Okay,
Yep.
We'll sort that out. All right. Let's see. All right. Thank you, Eric. Okay, there we go. So we talked about just over-the-top apps. We complement in some scenarios. We may be all that's needed, it's provided in others. And in other scenarios, maybe over-the-top apps provide what is needed as well. So it's a very complementary environment. As I mentioned, our ideal customer profile is really based on around workers who are on the move. And a worker on the move essentially can be somebody that is on the move who's a true road warrior, constantly traveling, an international traveler, or it could be somebody who's just a hybrid worker, a few days in the office, a few days remote. Additionally, it can actually be somebody who is in the office all day long, in front of a soft client and has access to a desk phone and things like that. But at the end of their day, they are mobile in some way, maybe leaving their home office and taking the kids to a soccer game or something like that, or they're just mobile in some other way, fashion, whether they move between floors, between buildings in a geographic area. Generally, just about everybody is on the move in some way, shape, or form, and still needs to carry on business and conduct it in a way and be reachable, attainable, easily and effectively, and also have the same ability to do that as well. So across many industries, what we see, right? So from retail and hospital workers, manufacturing, healthcare, insurance, public sector, education, transport, these are frontline workers. These, in some cases, have the most critical relationships in an organization because they're communicating and dealing with your clients on a day-to-day, face-to-face basis, every day, week in and week out. If there's some tools that you can provide that give them the ability to communicate more effectively, for you to work and track and leverage what other individuals across the organization have, and support them in some way, shape, or form, that's a great area to be able to do that. Quality assurance. We always talk about quality assurance and analytics within the contact center space. Maybe you have a field sales force or project managers or something along those lines, or technicians who are out moving around regularly. And maybe there's a scenario where you want to extend and use some of those quality assurance capabilities the same way you do for an individual that might be sitting in a contact center. You be able to help educate, help understand how you can support them better, recording calls to go through training and things like that for new individuals who are coming on board, so that you can support them more effectively. Extend is a great way to do that and incorporate that into all the investment you've made within your UC environment. Additionally, you have compliance sensitive organizations like finance and insurance and healthcare, where it's critical that those calls are recorded, captured, stored, and retrievable. And in some cases, many times up to 7 to 10 years in some scenarios. This is a really effective way to do this. You are now taking, in the finance world, for example, if I give you a tool as a financial advisor and I say, when you speak to your clients, you are to use your DID, this is the number you use, whether you're in the office, on a soft phone, a desk phone, or on your mobile device. I have now enabled you as a user with an effective tool that you can leverage and use. It's not on a second phone that I maybe have left at home. It could be on your bring your own device, whatever the scenario is. I have now, as a corporation, provided a compliant, liable solution for my employees so that they can go out and be effective, that they're protected, that you're protected as a corporation, so you're reducing that risk and liability. So there's really many, many factors here. It can be a small independent insurance agency. It can be a global financial conglomerate where these things make sense from a compliance perspective.
Well, and Brian, to your point, I know a couple of my sales directors on the line today are working on multiple projects, anywhere from 10 users up to over 1,000 users, which you're a part of these as well. And I think the biggest thing, or the biggest concern that was the compliance aspect of things. I'm losing control. It's going to a mobile. Well, it is, but it's based on a unified platform that we're controlling the DID. So it's a part of the ecosystem still. And I think once we get past that point and we educate the opportunity. And to your point, these verticals, the ones we're working on are all part of these verticals. But I look at also, like, people are saying, well, what verticals do you specialize in? In today's world, unfortunately, what we had to deal with COVID, everybody's still working remotely. People aren't still going back to the offices. So, when we say this, it could be Joe's car shop. And they have their employees roaming around or delivering car or what. Everybody's a candidate for it. But really the biggest, I think, challenge that we had at the beginning and trying to get it past people was you still have control over your company. You still have control over that employee, that colleague, and you're compliant during the entire timeline, even though you're using a mobile extend product. Would you agree with that? I mean, have you seen that through the industry? I'm not an expert in your world, so that's the reason why I ask. Now I'm putting you on the spot.
No, absolutely, right. So that's absolutely that's the case, right? Particularly in those heavily regulated industries, the scenario of risk and liability and lawsuit is so significant that when you can provide tools to not only your fixed worker environment, but while they're mobile as well, you are now providing and being a part of a total governance solution that allows you as partners to bring something that is very valuable to an organization.
Okay, I like total compliance solution. I'm going to use. I'm taking that. I'm going to phrase that. I'm going to start using that. Thank you.
Okay, you
I
got
like
it.
that.
All right. The last one is just knowledge workers, right? Folks like myself and Travis, we're salespeople, we're traveling on the road, engineering teams, IT departments, had the opportunity to spend time with various engineers and project managers and of different partners and organizations. Everybody's remote these days, a lot of traveling going on. If you can now give those individuals an easy way to carry one phone and be able to go through and make and take calls and be effective as they are, as well as messaging as well. So, I mean, it's really nice. One thing I was reading through the slides just beforehand, just a little thing popped in my head, like a kind of a use case. It mentions legal and accounting. So from a legal perspective, they're all about billable hours. If I'm in front of my soft client and I pick up the phone and I speak to you for 20 minutes, I'm going to bill you for 20 minutes. How about when that attorney is walking down the street in New York City between clients and they now take a phone call for that same 20-minute walk on their mobile device? All of the tools and applications, including like a billing program, if that's taking place in the background, if that's part of your UC offering, it's now extended out to the mobile device easily and effectively. No extra apps need to be loaded, no tools need to be activated or anything like that. So it's just something simple that I kind of thought of, that you as the partners out there touching these end clients, you're going to come across many scenarios where this can be a very effective tool for you.
Perfect. And Brian, I did get the question. Isaac, great question, and thank you for submitting that, Mr. Chun. The question that has arose within the Tango environment, within your side of the marketplace, who would be our primary competitors to an Extend product? Price points, I can probably answer that. We're going to be extremely price competitive, but Brian, I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on that. And then any key differences or USPs that maybe we can educate the channel on, that would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. So from a competitive perspective, let me see if I can address that one first.
Sure.
This is a very unique offering. There's no one else doing what Tango Extend does, and with the partnership through NUWAVE, where we are taking a DID number, extending it out to a mobile device, and doing it from a native perspective, not having to activate, download apps and things like that. The competition comes into play. Well, I already have a over-the-top mobile application, right? So there's some advantages and benefits there. There's some need for that sometimes, but the variance there, the difference really comes down to ease of use, right? I go in, I'm driving down the road, and I want to use, I'm using CarPlay. I say, Siri, please call Travis Burrows. I can do that easily and effectively because I can do it on my personal side. I now have parity on the business side as well. So I just have that level of ease of use for that. Additionally, I've got quality of service because I'm leveraging a cellular connection rather than a data connection. So you will run into clients and folks would say, well, I already have a mobile app, I'm good. And that, in some cases that may be the case. However, if there's some in scenarios where you truly do have people who are traveling, they need effective tools and they need an easy way to do it, and you want a high adoption rate. Again, it goes back to, if it's easy to use and I don't have to think about it and I just make and take calls the way I do personally, you're now going to have a very high adoption rate. So that's where that comes into play. You may have scenarios where clients have a relationship with one of the major carriers and they've already invested in mobile phones, and they're like, "Oh, I've got mobile phones for my workforce," meaning they're paying for the mobile phone, they're paying for the number, they're paying for the service, they may be paying for warranty, they may be paying for mobility management. I've seen as much as $100+ per month for that type of service. In that scenario, you can be extremely effective, certainly from a pricing perspective. Yeah. But think about the difference. That's a mobile phone that is outside of your environment. You're now talking about a DID number being leveraged. So you're leveraging the power of the unified communication platform, Teams, Webex, and you're simply making it available on a tool that everybody's using.
Yeah, that was greatly worded. I appreciate that. That educated me as well, and I appreciate that. So, but concerning any type of pricing, guys, what I'm going to do is I am going to leverage back. So, Isaac, to your point, I know Mr. Eric Chun is your primary sales director. And all of our sales directors will be reaching out to everybody's on the phone. So I know we're not here to sell you anything today, but after the call, my guys, we're going to sell you stuff. Eric, Isaac, Mr. Chun will be able to provide you all the price points based on this solution after the call. But that was a great question, Isaac. Thank you for asking it.
Yeah, I hope I addressed that for you. And if not, we're certainly happy to take it offline as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, you bet. All right. Touched on POTS replacement a little bit, right? From a strategy perspective, again, this makes sense for some folks. If you're in this area and you're already doing POTS, great. We are certified on a few POTS replacement devices, ATEL, Vola, Connect One. Additionally, Yealink as well. And folks, Yealink for POTS replacement scenario there is you actually have a situation where we have certified on a Yealink phone, a T74 LTE. So this is a phone that does not require an Ethernet connection, right? So you just need power. You take the phone, you plug it into the wall, it's powered up. If it has an extend SIM in that phone, you're now taking the DID number from the UC platform and you're extending it out to that device without it being able to provide power over an Ethernet. That could be construction trailers, retail and pop-up retail environments. It could be old office buildings where it's hard to run wiring. It could be new office buildings where their wiring hasn't been run yet. You can still be able to, if a desk phone's required and you have a difficult area where you have trouble running power over Ethernet out to that device, you now have the ability to provide a DID number on that phone and leverage a cellular connection there. So there's some really great use cases there and different things that we can work through. And as I mentioned, the voice over LTE in the POTS environment is wherever there's a critical call path required in the POTS replacement scenario, please consider leveraging and using Extend if you're working in that POTS environment, because that's where you're going to be able to have a better quality of service, higher level of priority in a critical environment, and you've got a VoLTE connection. All right. Any questions there or anything?
I'm good.
Okay, good deal. All right. Just moving on. So differentiation a little bit for partners and clients as well, right? So it's just touching on some of the values and benefits there. This is a unique offering, right? Somebody asked who's, competition. We're competing against, wireless cellular providers and over-the-top applications for the most part. But essentially, this really is a unique offering. And the value and the benefit is, I keep hammering it, it's extending that DID out to the mobile device. That's the differentiator. I can now make and take voice and messaging calls on a business line just as easily natively as I can, as I do for personal services. So it's a great solution for partners. It helps differentiate you a little bit. Additionally, as a partner, you're now expanding your service and your capabilities and the overall communications platform that you're providing to your clients and customers. You're now bringing in wireless capability and services to them. You're incorporating that under one communications platform, and you're broadening your capability services to each of your clients. It drives higher customer satisfaction, value, and loyalty. As Travis mentioned, once you start to use it, it really does just become a very natural part of your life. I've been in environments where I've had over-the-top applications in my work environment. I just never used them. And again, that could have been pure laziness, ease of use for me. I just would give out my personal cell phone number and that worked for me, but that doesn't necessarily work for the organization or the company that you're part of. So it really does make sense. It also protects me as well, right? So now that I have business calls coming in and out of my UC environment, I know that they are secure and that they're protected also. So it really does have a high level of customer satisfaction and loyalty. And you're bringing a unique offering to your clients to make them think a little bit, hey, is there a better way I can incorporate mobile workers into my overall environment? Expand your market reach, right, as well. We talked about that a little bit. Yep. remote support for complexity of desk phones and maintenance and troubleshooting, right? So if you could eliminate desk phones, right? Desk phones, not a lot of folks are asking for desk phones anymore, but if there's scenarios where you can eliminate some desk phones in some cases, and you might be able to help support from a troubleshooting and maintenance or warranty perspective, reducing some of your own cost in order to do that as a partner out to the client, and perhaps you can even pass some of those benefits onto your customers as well. Enhances cross-sell and upsell opportunities. So bundling services, AI, right? So really interesting AI applications and things are coming into play in the work environment. From a communications and a voice perspective, that's starting to happen as well. If those investments are taking place on the UC platform for fixed workers, and when I'm on my soft client, how are they being extended out to the mobile worker as well? Probably somebody who needs tools like that more than ever. If you've got call summary, instant calendar updates and access through actions of a voice communication conversation. If you can do that in a fixed environment for soft clients and desk phones, you now have the ability, that investment you've made to build that out is now automatically extended out to the mobile worker as well. So some really effective stuff there. Additionally, and one last little piece on this, just as an inherent part, if you have 5, 10, 15% of your workforce that leverages and uses Tango Extend, if you do have issues, if there are network issues, platform issues, anything along this as well, this can additionally be part at no extra cost of your overall business continuity planning. So calls to these individuals on networks on Tango Extend can be manually rerouted for inbound calls to those users. So those individuals can actually receive calls in a complete outage environment. So again, it's just one more piece at no additional charge that you can actually offer out to your clients and customers. And then lastly, desk phones and cordless phones and things like that. We see them a lot in nursing homes, mental health facilities, and things, retail environments. They're costly, they're expensive, they're continually breaking. There's very little control over them from a corporate environment perspective. So we have a really nice scenario where you can displace that and leverage Extend in those areas.
Perfect. So there is another question that Isaac came up, and thank you for the question, and thank you for being interactive on today's call. So there's a comment, I believe it is, and then we're going to get into the question. So what Isaac has seen is we've seen the majority of the POTS lines tied to AT&T, as well as many known AT&T has announced major POTS degradation across many states with a deadline of November of 2026. This has created real urgency for clients to find viable replacement path. Question: can Tango Networks replace AT&T POTS lines? And if so, what does the transition look like in terms of coverage, timeline, and any technical considerations?
Great question. So remember, we're a SIM cellular provider, right? So that's who we are. Working with your hardware provider in that space, Vola, ATEL, and others, that's finding the right hardware and solution that you need to accomplish for that particular use case. And again, we're just a scenario where in today's environment, POTS has been pretty actively been selling, and there's a number of providers out there, and they're doing it from the major carriers with AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and they're typically leveraging and using an IoT or data SIM. That's the difference. And those can be very effective in 50% of scenarios. That may be all that is needed. Some alarm system, a door, alarm environment or something like that. That might be fine. If there's a critical call path that's needed where voice is actually part of that POTS replacement, that's where we come into play, leveraging the Tango Extend SIM. In that environment, you're providing a much more robust and capable compliance solution in that scenario and situation.
Yeah. No, I would
So
think, and Eric is better at analog integration than I am. But if you start talking about you referred Brian to the security factors, the elevators, the security of the fire alarm, and it is going to happen with with a POTS replacement. That's when we would step in and help out with the analog replacement going into a SIP trunk to eliminate the POTS services in that high secured areas that Tango necessarily wouldn't fit in based on the SIM concept. And if Eric, you could
absolutely.
be, Chun, I know you're on the line. If you could give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that, if I'm about correct or right, I'd appreciate that if you're still on the phone. So he's a smart one. I'm not. So okay, I got a thumbs up. So I
There
was
you
on the
go.
same page there. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Let's take a look at some benefits for the clients and customers as well. So it's actually one of my favorites, right? So I look at this, I've come from the world, I've lived with and worked for Verizon for many, many years. Contracting and invoicing from the major carriers in the wireless space is not an easy thing to do. Small mid-market organizations, and even a lower enterprise struggle in this space. So you as a partner for a client, if you could come into them with a complete and turnkey offer, you're providing them unified communication services for all of their fixed workers, and now you're also providing them the ability to incorporate mobile and mobility into that environment as well. I've now eliminated the need to negotiate and go through a wireless contract and deal with wireless billing as well. You're going to be just as simply another line item on your bill from your trusted advisor. It's going to be a fixed rate each month. We don't charge overages and things like that, and we can talk about that a little bit in different scenarios. But it really simplifies contracting and billing and invoicing from that perspective. So there's a nice cost savings potentially for some of your clients and customers, just in addition to just being much easier to deal with. Having less people to have to work through all sorts of elements like that. Advanced analytics, we talked about AI, incorporating AI into voice calling, anything you can do to automate call summaries, integration with CRM packages, to calendars, anything like that. If you're doing that and you're applying those things to your workers in a fixed environment, you now have the ability to leverage and extend that investment you've already made and bring that out to your mobile workers as well, who probably need it more than anybody else. Consistent user experience, right? So the interface, just working with it, being able to use it as I'm on the move. I don't have to think about it. It's just there. It's natural, and it's very easy to do. Brand identity. There's a number of things you can do from a brand identity perspective. One of the easiest things is I know that when a call comes into my business line, I'm going to answer it professionally because I know it's an inbound call coming into my Tango, in my case, my Tango Extend DID number. Additionally, my voicemail you have a professional voicemail message there, so that when a call does get dropped into voicemail, it's your one voicemail that you have with your professional message on it. So there's some branding there. You can do things from a branding perspective. If I'm a field worker, a technician, and I'm running late to an appointment, I want to call somebody, rather than them receiving a call from just a random 10-digit number that I'm not going to answer, maybe it says, ABC Plumbing Incorporated or something like that. And I've got a plumbing appointment coming up with ABC today. Let me answer that. So you can pre-call branding and things along those lines as well. Hardware reduction, we talk about that as well, the infrastructure and land management and land resources along those lines. Secure communications for SMS and voice, dual SIM capability for having to be able to reduce two phones, reduce corporate plans, all of those elements, fantastic benefits there for clients as well. And then global mobility. We didn't touch on it much, but the global shock of that is Justin in here. The global shock of some of the bills. I've heard bills for thousands of dollars because somebody traveled to a foreign country, forgot to call their carrier, or a separate carrier for that country and get some kind of access while they were there in Europe or whatever, traveling on business, and to come back to a couple of $1,000 phone bill. It is not uncommon that, and we can provide a better way to control that. So there's some nice opportunities to do that there. Let's take a look at the building blocks, the international roaming, the value, and I know we're coming up on time, so I'll move a little bit quicker here. So from a perspective of how we handle international in three ways, right? So we have what are called home countries. There are 17 home countries. We can provision services in those countries. You can travel into any of those countries. If you have service in one of them, you can travel to any and all of them. 365 days a year, you could roam into those countries and you would receive no roaming charges. So really effective way for individuals who do travel internationally. Additionally, we have another 22 countries, what we label as home away countries. You can travel into those countries with no roaming charges for up to 90 days in a 365-day period. And then additionally, the last way we handle international roaming, we do have what we call a global day pass, and it provides unlimited voice, unlimited messaging, and a gig of data while you're traveling for a very nominal rate on a daily basis, depending on how many days you may or may not need in a particular region, area, country. And you can do that on a daily basis. So really nice kind of 1, 2, 3 way of handling international travel. All right. Some value propositions. We talked about a lot of them overall, but we address things from a cost savings perspective and engagement and experience environment, control and compliance, and staying connected. So from a cost savings, reducing and eliminating desk phones, reducing and eliminating the need to have 2 phones like a corporate device. Or in many cases, there's companies that are paying a corporate stipend. I've heard as much as $125 a month, because if you're going to load mobility management, over-the-top applications, other things onto my phone, then you need to pay those individuals. And as I mentioned, I've heard from some companies as much as $125 per month. So in that scenario, for a very nominal cost, if you replace that, you give them a dual SIM and scenario on their personal device. I'm not using their battery space. I'm not invading their space from a management perspective or anything on their phone. I'm just giving them another network on their phone. You may be able to eliminate or reduce those costs. From an experience and engagement perspective, easy to use as an end user. The engagement is, because it is simple, I have a high adoption rate. Because I have a high adoption rate, I now have compliance and control from a centralized IT environment perspective. Control and compliance, call recording, capturing messages, things along those lines. If it needs to be, if it applies to my work in a soft client or desk phone environment, all of those controls can now just simply be extended through the tools you already have, you've already made an investment in, out to the mobile device as well. Because we're simply just another SIP endpoint, and we're a DID number off of that. And then staying connected globally, and then the disaster recovery piece.
Yeah, you look at all the value props. I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm telling myself, and yeah, I know I sell this on a day-to-day, but I'm saying I see no downside. Like I'm trying to understand as a consumer myself, I'm sitting here trying to understand, what is my downside of doing this?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry for the split screen here, but just as a summary, real quick, just, one business number, bringing your own device, the dual persona. There's so many use cases that come along with the cost savings itself, the UC functionality and parity, no app required on the phone, global coverage, compliance and recording, and deploys in minutes. This can be as simple a solution as it can be. For a few dollars a month, I'm taking a DID number, I'm extending it out to my mobile device, and I'm making and taking calls, and I'm doing messaging, and I'm doing it across my UC platform. I have one number. I was thinking of, even in our own industry, if you get somebody's business card, I know when I travel around, I go to a conference or something, again, just something I thought of while I was looking at this earlier today. I look at somebody's business card, there's 2 numbers on there, their work number and their mobile number, right? So eliminate that. Give people and individuals one number. It's their work number, whether they're a mobile, whether they're traveling, whether they're in a fixed environment, it's all the same way and accessible the same way.
Yeah. Well, and then also to your point, we've already seen success as NUWAVE and through our channel. And Brian, you're already aware of this, but I do want to bring this up. I want to be visible with the channel that's on the line. We are actually working with two of our customers in both of, in I can't remember the verticals right off the top of my head, but it's two that was on Brian's slide, and they're actually doing case studies for us that will be published. So even
Wow.
though we haven't, we've done several deployments, but of those, I already have two that are willing to say, yes, we believe in what you've delivered. It does what it's supposed to do. It's providing us better efficiency, better communications. And even one of the customers said a better connect rate, meaning people are taking the calls. And so we are working on those case studies. When those are available, they will be published within the Academy portal. If you don't have access to Academy, get with your sales directors. And then also this will be published on the website as well. So we're extremely excited about this partnership. We see major value with bringing Tango Networks on board to help us grow our channel as well. So thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and meet some of the folks and give a chance to explain what we do. And we can go deeper on these scenarios. I'm learning use cases every day because partners are bringing them to us. Can we do this? How do we integrate that?
Yeah.
How do we include that in the call flow of this scenario? So for this client, it's really interesting. It's a very unique tool, but it's also a very horizontal tool and it fits in many different places. So we hope you take advantage of it. And as a call to action, right, Travis, one of our call to actions, if you've seen this today and you like what you see, if you're a partner out there, get with Travis and understand how can you deploy this within your own environment? How can you leverage this for your own sales team and your own organization?
Yes.
Start there, look at it, get people using it, and then you'll see the real value of it.
And I think that's a key component, right? Because, I'm going to use a term that people eat your own dog food, right? Let's use the solution, understand the value of the solution. And trust me, our sales directors, they will be reaching out to the channel saying, hey, do we have questions? What do we need to do next steps? Do we need to go into a POV? Do we need a deployment? So, but if you're not using it, I think even you as an organization are missing out, even as a part of our channel. So you are also a customer. So.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I know we're coming right up on the 2:00 timeline. Brian, brilliant job as always, man. I really appreciate it. I know our channel does. I know my team does. So we're coming up. Great questions, Isaac and team, and Eric, and helping out with that. And in the meantime, we're going to let you get back to your day. And look forward to our next roundtable discussion. Please make sure you're following us on LinkedIn and etc. And you'll see them popping up more often. But we appreciate everybody's time today. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.